Escape from the Dark is a really charming film. This is also known as The Littlest Horse Thieves. It was released in 1976. It's a Disney film directed by Charles Jarrott and it's written by Bert Kennedy and Rosemary and Sisson. And this is a really sweet film. It's about these children in Yorkshire who find out that machines are going to be replacing the pit ponies and down the coal mines, and they learn that the horses no longer needed are going to be going to the slaughterhouse, and they absolutely refuse to let this happen, so they do everything they can to try and rescue the ponies. And I won't say any more about the specifics of the narrative, but I found this to be a really fascinating story, and all of the characters are brilliant. The children in particular are just fantastic, and there's one moment where the little girl learns that the horses are going to go to the slaughterhouse, and her reaction is just amazing. And I think very believable and very genuine as well. And I think it's an interesting commentary on the downsides of, well, I was going to say the downsides for horses of improving technology, but needless to say, it's not just the horses who are at a bit of a disadvantage, and this really comes across in the film. I'm not from a mining family, but I know that people in the north of England who do come from mining families have a lot of thoughts about the history of mining and how miners were treated in somewhat recent decades. And I think it could have an emotional angle to it as well, not just emotional because it's talking about slaughtering animals, but because there will be families, there will be people who can connect with various things that this film is addressing, and I think it could be a pretty powerful watch. And I'd love to know if that's you. If you have mining in your family history, I'd love to know kind of if the film hit differently, and whether or not, of course, it was an emotional journey. But it is quite emotional from the horse aspect, because I don't think anybody wants to see horses slaughtered. Well, there are people in the film who couldn't care less, but certainly the children do care and other characters care, and it's really lovely to see them trying to rescue these horses. Whether or not they manage, I won't say, of course, but it's a really lovely narrative. I don't know how authentic the accents are, but I don't have a problem with the accent. I'm not from Yorkshire, so I I would probably feel differently if I was from Yorkshire, but in my opinion, the accents are fine. But again, if you have any strong opinions on that either way, I'd be keen to know what you think. On the flip side, I can confirm that it was filmed in Yorkshire. According to IMDb, it was filmed in North Yorkshire and West Yorkshire, particularly in Bradford and a couple of other locations. And visually, it is beautiful. The scenery is absolutely gorgeous. If somebody watched this and decided to go to Yorkshire afterwards, it wouldn't surprise me. It's a lovely film to look at with some really well written characters, with some great performances, and a lovely story, but also some important messages about the effects of replacing workers, whether they're ponies or humans, with machinery and the negative effects that that can have. It's a really enjoyable film and one that I'd say is definitely worth watching. It's a little longer than I'd like. It's about an hour and 40 minutes, and that's not to say I can't watch long films, but there were bits where I feel like we could have quickened up the pace a little bit. It's a little slow here and there, but not tremendously so, not enough to affect my overall enjoyment. And ultimately, I came away from it feeling like I'd watched a decent film. If it sounds like your kind of thing, then Escape from the Dark or The Littlest Horse Thieves is definitely worth checking out.